And I want to create a space where, when you listen to this podcast, if you're, watching it like this on YouTube, or if you're driving, listening to it in audio, whatever the case is like, this is going to be able to be something that not only feeds your mindset, provokes you to do things that are going to help change your life, improve, give you also provoke you to really start looking at your life and how you should be performing differently, how you should be showing up, and then how you should be showing up for yourself. Because when it's all said and done, like, God ordained us as men to have dominion over all things. And the one thing that's important is that we got to get out of our own way. And so with this, I'll tell you that, this came to me through a lot of the fact that I want to lead, and I want to be the type of leader that I show up and that I'm an example of overcoming, having redemption in my life. And I'll stop for a moment just to share this with you. Coming out of high school, and this going back, 25 years or longer, me getting a full ride scholarship at the University of Colorado, it was like one of the best things that's ever happened to me. The youngest out of 4 boys, the only one to get a full ride scholarship to a Division I school. And when I say this, I'm going to say this really harshly, like the bottom fell off. Like that never fully happened. And I'll get into it later on, all the details. But that moment in my life changed the projection of where I was going. And I'm going to tell you this, like sometimes I would think to myself, like, be pissed at myself because I was thinking that I should have gone into playing 4 years at University of Colorado, went and been to a Big 12 championship, and then going off and having a historical NFL career, hopefully a Hall of Fame career, and being able to take care of my family. Well, none of that happened. It's zero. And to be honest with you, like it burned a hole in my heart, and I carried it for so long. And it was one of those things where I started to realize, like, man, like I got all this talent. I mean, I'm telling you, I was a baller. But then I think about all the other things I'm talented in. And then I started realizing too, I was like, man, a lot of this stuff happened to me, and I have to realize that where was I at fault, and what do I need to do? Because if I start thinking about like football was over, I stopped playing football at like 25. At 25 years old, 24, 25 years old, what was I going to do with the rest of my life? And so what I want to say is that when I talk about redemption, I remember the moment that I realized that like it was about redemption. Because if you think about it, I think my family, friends, there were coaches that, would say to me like, if you don't do this, you're going to end up like all the rest of them, talented, but never make it. And it pisses me off. And I'll tell you right now, it's probably been the biggest motivation of my life. But it also was negative, it was weight. And I was trying to figure out like, what can I do, right? There's no more football. Can't go back and do that. Like I'm too old for that. I'm 46 years old, too old for that. But at the same time, I was thinking to myself, like, what's the league? Like what's going to the NFL? What's the equivalent of that, right? And that's becoming the best man I can be, right? Building the self-development, having integrity to a highest level, to work hard and build and innovate, but also to like figuring out how I can contribute to the world and to the culture that is looking for men like us to stand up. And I've been in the corporate world, and as a black man being in the corporate world, had those challenges. But I will tell you this, nothing has been more of a burning hole in my heart than the fact that I did not fulfill the way that I had thought was going to happen for me. And it didn't happen. And I'll tell you this, for anyone that's watching this that says, hey, look, maybe God didn't have that path. That's why you're here. And I know that. But I still knew that I needed to redeem myself, and I needed to become that. And I will tell you right now, everything from being a dedicated man, a committed man of God, continue working on that and learning, to just being a man and understanding my values. That's important to me, right? Then I met my beautiful wife, and before I married her, realized the responsibility I was taking on, because I also was going to be a father figure as well, and that part too. Then I thought like, man, I've watched my father, who's been married to my mom over 55 years, with them as well, looking at my dad and thinking like, what kind of husband am I going to be, right? And then, obviously all the other things. And when it came down to it, it was like, there are things that I really have to work on, and I got to show up, and I got to show that as a man, that my wife can trust me, because she knows that when I lead or when we do things that she's being protected, and there's certainty. But it also shows up of how I get up every day, and how I pursue the things that are important to me, knowing at the end of the day, like all the stuff that I've been through, and why I need to be really like laser focused and create routines, and have clarity, and do all the stuff that I guide and coach all my fitness and nutrition clients that are in my programs to do. Because when you have high level expectation, you have high performance mindset, sometimes when you look at it, like the thing that's driving you that you do great is great, but then there's all these other things you don't do in your life and they do affect you. And it's like, oh, well, I'm doing this, so I don't have time for that. That's not true, right? Oh, I'm doing this, or this is happening. You got all these excuses, but it's like, damn it, redeem yourself. Like, stop that. Stop making excuses. Quit that. And when I talk about this, is like, I'm not saying this, I'm going to say this, and I'm saying, like, as men, we're living below what we're born to be. And it's not because we're weak. It's because you lost the desire, the fight, the discipline. You've lost that.